Hello, I'm Dr. David Hawkins. I'm the director of the Marriage Recovery Center, and we have specialized in working with individuals with narcissism and who have been emotionally abusive, and of course working with spouses of those emotionally and narcissistically abusive men. We're trying to figure it out. We are trying to figure out whether or not they can be worked with, whether these men can really receive healing, and if so, what kind of intervention is it going to take? We've found some startling results that are both positive and in some ways negative. What we've found is that when women refer men to counseling, and refer them out without any involvement, then typically what men do is complain about their mate. They argue and they defend themselves and they are deceptive and they create their own story. Not surprising. This shouldn't shock us. And so I'm always a little bit alarmed whenever I receive a referral from a woman and she says, I'm sending my mate to you for counseling. And I invariably now, it's a change, say, well, that's good, but I would really like your involvement. Oftentimes she says, I'm tired of being involved. I'm tired of it being up to me to make the changes. And I sympathize with that exhaustion. Yes, you've carried a lot of weight for far too long, but sending your man to counseling is not going to bring you the results that you want. Now, I'm not suggesting the opposite. I'm not suggesting that you are his counseling police and that you make sure that he reads the books, make sure he goes for counseling, make sure he participates in the core group program or whatever. No, but I am encouraging, and our staff encourages, that you create a crisis, that you bring about an intervention that includes an ultimatum. And that ultimatum means that he must participate in depth counseling and that he has to participate in this rigorous counseling where there's character change that is expected. Now, simultaneously, and this is where I know some people are going to chafe at this, but simultaneously, we have found that it's really good for the mate, the wife, the woman, to also be involved in her own counseling, to recover from narcissistic and emotional abuse. And that ultimately, as she participates in her counseling, and he participates in his counseling, and there's accountability for character change with him, true accountability, we confer with you to find out if he's making the changes that he needs to be making. You participate in your own counseling so that you're getting healing for the trauma that you've experienced. And so we call this healing together, only when it's appropriate, only when it's safe, only when it's fully monitored by professionals who know all about narcissistic and emotional abuse. And in that process, the healing together process, this new way of thinking about this, as she does his work, he does his work, and then ultimately, if he really has done his work and he becomes a safe or safer individual, safe enough, he's made enough changes that he can now participate, and she feels safe enough to participate in couples counseling, then perhaps the relationship can be saved. Do we say that it can always be saved? No way. Do we say that he can always change and will always change? No way. But can there sometimes be change? Can some marriages be healed? Can some men grow up and grow beyond narcissistic and emotional abuse? The answer to that's absolutely yes. I have a men's group where the men are actively changing and the growth is steady and sure. She participates in her counseling, he participates in his counseling, and we call that healing together. Now, his healing is not dependent on her healing. Do not hear that. The woman does not have to participate in her own counseling, but if she does her own healing work, they're different. That's different than his healing work. They both do their different forms of healing, and then ultimately it's possible that they can come and heal together in couples counseling when the time is right, when everybody agrees that it's safe to do so. Okay, I hope those are some thoughts worth really thinking about. Healing together, a new way to deal with this issue of narcissism and emotional abuse. I'm Dr. David Hawkins. We'd love to hear from you. We've got people ready to talk to you about our different programs. Take care.